All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We are on Facebook Live, so we have a couple avenues of ways people are joining us this evening. First, I want to welcome everyone to the Atlas Public School hearing and board interview with the Missouri Charter Public School Commission. Thank you for joining us this evening as we hear from the founders of a potential charter public school option in the city of St. Louis. My name is Bailey Geist, and I am with the Missouri Charter Public School Association and will be serving as your moderator. We will begin the hearing with welcoming remarks, followed with a brief presentation by Atlas Public Schools leadership. Then we will turn it over to comments from the public. If you did not sign up to speak this evening but would like to provide comment, please feel free to place them in the chat. We do have, as mentioned earlier, over 48 people who have signed up for public comment. So we obviously won't get to everyone tonight. If we don't get to you, then feel free to place in the chat, or if you're joining us on Facebook Live, type it in that chat, or you can also email to info@ncpsc.mo.gov. And at 5:55, we will finish taking public comment, take a small break, and then resume to the Atlas Public School Board interview. Please note for those on Zoom, when it's your opportunity to provide comment, I will introduce you and unmute your microphone. I would like to now introduce the Honorable Delbert Scott, Chairman of the Missouri Charter Public School Commission. So I will now unmute Delbert, just one second.
Okay, does that turn us on?
Yep, we hear you.
Okay, very good. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad to have you this evening. And Bailey, thank you for moderating this event. We're excited about the future for Atlas Public School. And we're glad this evening to have with us the two leaders of the school. They're going to make a presentation. First of all, Colby Heckendorn is the executive director, and Genevieve Backer is the head of the school. Both of these people are with Atlas. And so I'm going to turn it over to Colby and Genevieve for their presentation at this time.
Let me unmute Colby and Genevieve, one second.
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
Wonderful, thank you, Delbert. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for tonight's virtual community forum. We're thrilled to see so many familiar faces, from students and families to community leaders and members of our design team who have been supporting our work over the course of the past year. Tonight, we come together to share a little bit about our school model and hear from you as we work to launch Atlas, an elementary school that will help transform the educational landscape here in St. Louis. I'm Colby Heckendorn.
And I'm Genevieve Backer, and we are the co-founders of Atlas. Before our presentation, we'd like to thank the members of the Missouri Public Charter School Commission. We honor the work you do to ensure that high-quality school options exist for the students of St. Louis.
I'd also like to thank our board. We're grateful to have such an amazing and passionate group leading our organization.
Before we go further, let us introduce ourselves. I'm Genevieve Backer, and although I'm a native to St. Louis, I began my career in education as a 5th grade classroom teacher in New Orleans. Over the course of 5 years as a teacher, I worked in both traditional district and charter school settings, teaching several hundred amazing kids. I went on to earn my master's from Johns Hopkins University to further my development in school leadership. This past year, I was a fellow with the Diverse Charter School Coalition, where I worked alongside other school leaders who are launching intentionally diverse charter schools throughout the country. I've learned countless things through these experiences, but ultimately I've grown in my conviction that all children, no matter their racial or socioeconomic background, are capable of doing amazing things.
That's something the two of us definitely agree on. I've been an educator for the past 10 years here in St. Louis, most recently serving as the principal at Patrick Henry Elementary. Henry has always had amazing students and families, but when I arrived, the school was one of the lowest performing in the state. Over the course of the next several years, our team worked extremely hard to turn things around, and we definitely made progress. Enrollment increased by 20%, attendance improved, out-of-school suspensions decreased from over 250 to just 2 in my last year as a leader, and my teacher retention rate was one of the highest in the district. Academically, our students were making progress too. We exceeded our growth goals, and most considered Henry to be a success story. While I was proud of the improvements we made, I knew there were still far too many students performing significantly below grade level, which didn't sit right with me. I sought out innovative ways to better serve my students, and I joined a fellowship that pushed me to reimagine the school experience. That's actually where I met Genevieve. Together, we learned the difference between school improvement versus school transformation. And we realized fairly quickly that if we're going to truly transform the educational experience for our students, we're gonna have to do things drastically different. We started by meeting with families, community members, and soon the idea for Atlas was born.
For over a year, we've engaged with our community in various ways and have worked to put what we learned into action. We heard over and over from families that learning should be fun and kids should be excited to go to school each day. On the other hand, we sense their concern and know how important it is that kids feel safe, both physically and emotionally while they're at school.
We also heard from parents how important it is that their children have strong working relationships with teachers. They want their child to be valued and seen as an individual with their own unique gifts and talents that should be celebrated. We also heard from families, in one way or another, that they want their kids to have the skills and habits needed to thrive. Clearly, they want their kid to be academically successful, but they also see value in soft skills such as creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration.
Being able to collaborate is so important, and the vast majority of families we spoke with said that they'd like their child to attend a school that values diversity, one that encourages kids to learn and respect those across lines of difference. Families are excited about the idea of having more high quality, intentionally diverse schools to choose from.
Our conversations with families have been critical and helped shape our school's mission and the key pillars of our school model. Atlas's mission is to educate the whole child by combining a rigorous academic program with authentic, real-world experiences so all students thrive in middle school, high school, and beyond.
We envision a time when all students in St. Louis have the skills and habits needed to be successful in the 21st century, and where St. Louis is heralded as a model of flourishing, diverse, and empowered community. We believe that high-quality public schools will be the catalyst for community transformation that will result in a thriving city.
Recently, we've heard so many people say, I'm just ready for things to return to normal. This challenging time has exposed so many inequities in our country, especially in our schools and for our children. For us, we don't want schools to just return to normal. We need to do and be better for our kids. We deeply believe that education is the most powerful tool in breaking down systems of oppression and know that schools can be the catalyst for community transformation.
At Atlas, we want to rethink what's possible. We've used this unique time in history to strengthen the 4 pillars of our school design, which are highlighted on this slide. None of these tenets alone are necessarily brand new concepts, but when brought together intentionally and combined with a rigorous academic program that is grounded in research and proven best practice, we will set each and every one of our students up for success.
If you think back to your own experience in elementary school, what most people remember are field trips. That's because field trips are not only fun and engaging, but they help make learning stick. We don't want these types of experiences to only happen 1 or 2 times a year, but be seamlessly incorporated into every academic session in a way that's truly connected to what is being taught in class. That's why our school model combines a rigorous academic program with place-based learning opportunities.
Place-based learning connects what students are studying in class to authentic experiences in the local community which makes the learning more relevant, meaningful, and fun for kids. It's a unique way to connect concepts across all subjects and introduce the skills and habits we know our kids need. When you think about it, St. Louis is actually the perfect city for place-based learning. We have an amazing city with unique resources, world-renowned museums and parks, and fantastic people. At Atlas, we view St. Louis as our classroom.
To help you conceptualize what we mean by this, we'll give you an example of how this might live out in a thematic unit.
In our first kindergarten unit, students build their literacy, math, and citizenship skills as they engage in a study of toys and play. Students read both fiction and nonfiction books about toys, use their math concepts to discuss shapes and sizes found in various toys, and explore different perspectives as they discuss their own toy preferences with classmates.
Students will debate what makes a toy, learn about toys throughout history, and get the opportunity to design and build toys of the future.
Students will also explore age-appropriate challenges within the community and think through how toys and play can offer creative solutions to help solve some of our city's challenges.
Absolutely. This slide shows 4 potential ways that we could strategically weave in place-based learning into our toys and play unit. These types of authentic learning experiences are not only fun and engaging, but help our students gain a conceptual understanding of what is being taught.
This makes lessons stick and helps build our students' confidence. Throughout the course of the year, we're able to expose our students to a wide variety of learning experiences, introduce them to careers they may not have heard of, and empower them to be active citizens in the community.
It's also important to us as both parents and educators that we create a school community where all kids can come together and realize their full potential. We know that every single student has their own unique gifts and areas for growth. That's why Atlas's school model is designed to set each child up for success in a way that celebrates who they are as an individual. We aim to create an intentionally diverse staff and student body, one that not only brings people together across lines of difference, but is committed to making the world more kind and just.
We feel the momentum in our local community and across the nation and know that this is exactly the right time and place to launch Atlas Public Schools. While Atlas's staff and student population will reflect the diversity of our city across race, income, and cultural backgrounds, our commitment to diversity extends beyond recruitment to our anti-bias, anti-racist approach to curriculum and instruction, school-wide practices that promote equity, as well as ongoing professional development for ourselves and for our team.
At Atlas, our year-round model is broken up into 7 academic sessions, each consisting of approximately 5 weeks of instruction, followed by a 2-week intersession break. During the 5 weeks of instruction, students are exposed to our rigorous curriculum that is infused with authentic, real-world experiences. Our goal is to make learning fun while instilling the habits, skills, and mindsets that our kids need to be successful. During intersession breaks, students have the opportunity to participate in enrichment programs that feature camp-like experiences led by trusted community partners. This exposes kids to unique learning opportunities such as a dance or science camp that they might not have had otherwise. With our calendar, families won't have to worry about finding childcare when school isn't in session.
When you think about it, there are a lot of benefits to our year-round model for kids, families, and teachers. During the 2 weeks of intersession programming, when kids are learning and having fun, our teachers are too. During the first week of intersession, our teachers get time to reflect on their practice, plan for the next academic session, and work to perfect their craft. During the second week of intersession, teachers are off so they can rest and grow stronger. This continuous cycle of roughly 5 weeks of instruction, followed by 2 weeks of personal and professional growth, helps ensure that teachers at Atlas are always well planned and students receive the quality of instruction that they deserve.
Which is important. At Atlas, we've set lofty goals and we'll need an incredible team of educators to help us reach the high bar of excellence we've set for ourselves and our students. Research tells us that teachers are the single most significant in-school factor in improving student achievement. Unfortunately, far too many of the teachers we've talked to don't feel like they have the support, resources, or time to adequately prepare for students. That's why we're committed to supporting our staff and providing them with an excellent educator experience.
Through co-taught classrooms, 2 planned periods a day, one-on-one coaching, 30 days built into our calendar for professional development, and a strong base curriculum that is grounded in research, we're committed to developing our team, giving them the tools they need to be successful, and pushing them to be the best teachers they can be for our students.
We've worked hard to engage with the community and test our school design. Last summer, we held a pilot in the form of a summer camp for kindergarten through third grade students, which took place on the campus of St. Louis University. Through this pilot, we were able to test several components of our school model and gauge demand from families. We also have a second pilot planned that will take place virtually later this summer.
We also want to be a resource for families in our city. As a response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've assembled and shipped 200 remote learning kits to families of preschoolers living in St. Louis. The response from the community has been overwhelmingly positive, and we'll be sending out a second round of 200 learning kits in July.
With your support, we'll launch in the fall of 2021 and serve 130 kindergarten and first grade students. Each year thereafter, we'll add an additional grade until we're a fully grown K-5 elementary school. This approach allows us to grow smart. We'll focus on building strong relationships with students and their families, strengthen our systems, and course correct when necessary.
This past year, we focused on developing our school plan in partnership with the community. We hope to be sponsored and authorized by September of this year. Once we gain authorization from the state, our focus will shift to solidifying a facility, hiring our staff, and enrolling families. We will be fully enrolled in all grades by 2026, serving 468 students.
We think the timing is perfect for Atlas's launch as we will all work together to reimagine what's possible for the children of St. Louis.
We're excited to work alongside each of you as we collectively raise the bar and prove what's possible.
Thank you. We'll now turn it back over to Delbert Scott.
Am I on at this point? Okay. We are in a race for time. Between now and 5 minutes till 6, we have about 40 people want to speak. And so before we turn it over for public testimony, I'd like to introduce you to the commissioners. And I don't know if you can see them or not. They're pretty good looking people, but the vice chairman is Peggy Taylor from Nixa. She is probably in a bass boat under a bridge somewhere, so she's not on the, she may be on the call, but she's not where you can see her. Susan Cole is from St. Louis. Alicia Cartoba is from Kansas City. Mary Jane Almandos is from Cape Girardeau. Kathy Jo Loy is from Joplin. And we also have the executive director of the Missouri Public Charter School Commission, Robin Wabi, is on where you can see them. So let's go back to Bailey. And Bailey, if you can give some instruction, but I would ask that you say what you want to say quickly. We want to hear what you have to say. And this is not really the best forum, but it's the only forum that we could do at this time. So Bailey, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great, thank you so much. Just to reiterate how the public comment portion of this hearing will go, if everyone can make sure that they have their name under their Zoom photo, just so I can easily find you to unmute you. When it's your time to speak, I will ask to unmute you, and then please try and just keep it under 2 minutes. With that being said, I will have Dan Hubner go first. And Dan, I'm about to unmute you.
I've been unmuted by the host. Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for allowing me to speak this evening. My name is Dan Hubner. I'm a father. My wife and I are parents of 3 children who are not yet school age here in the city, but we do live here in the city and are really, the future education of our children is something we talk about quite consistently. And when looking for schools in the future, something we do talk about is the importance of a school that is diverse and frankly just represents all the beautiful diversity of our city. And I think the diverse by design principles of Atlas speak to that. We also want somewhere that really is able to feel like it is geared towards like our St. Louis community and like our community here. And we think that the place-based learning principles that are shared by that are espoused by Atlas also really speak to that. And so we just personally, like, I'm really excited about the possibility of having Atlas Public Schools here in St. Louis as a choice for our kids in the future.
Great, thank you so much, Dan. Next up, I will have Daphne Robinson, and I'm about to unmute you.
Great. My name is Daphne Robinson. I am an educator here in St. Louis, but had the fortune of having our son attend the pilot that Atlas held last summer. He is still, I mean, it was just a great experience, so much so that he still talks about the collaborative experience he had with learning, and he is just loves to build, which is one of the things that they spend a lot of time focusing on this summer. The leadership was great. Even in that week, we got daily reports. I actually got photos of some of the projects that the kids were working on. And I think even during that week, it just speaks volumes to the kind of leaders that they will be when the school is opened. And, you know, they walked the talk. They talked about collaborative learning, and that's what the students did. So I am an advocate of choice, and I think this is a great option. And I'm sad that my son won't be able to attend, but I think it'll be a great option for other kids once they open. So I am in full support and would support the school in any way I could when they're chartered.
Great, thank you, Daphne. Next up, we have Ciara Lee. And you should be good.
Hello again, I am Ciara Lee. I have chosen to send my child to Atlas. I do think that Atlas will provide my daughter with the quality education that will be in a diverse setting. I feel that the school will be safe and provide her with the tools that she will need to be successful in the years to come with her education.
Great, thank you so much. Next, we have Ashley Wildermuth. Sorry if I mispronounce any of these names, but you should now be on mute.
Hi, I'm Ashley Wildermuth. I am a teacher in St. Louis, but also a mom of a preschool student in St. Louis. And I feel like I had a lot to say, but I know I don't have much time. I really do appreciate that Atlas is diverse by design. I think that is something that is much needed in St. Louis, especially there are so many schools throughout, especially St. Louis Public School District, that are very segregated. And I would love for my son Charles to be able to attend a school like that. And then also, I really love the place-based education. I think being able to learn within the city that he and the other kids live, and having that like super meaningful, authentic education would really help them thrive and grow. And I just think it would be really engaging and enjoyable for them. And I know at that age, like that's what kids want. They want to enjoy being in and out of the classroom with their friends.
Great, thank you, Ashley. Next up, we have Maggie Apas-Simpong. Again, sorry, but you should now be on mute.
Hi, my daughter went to the summer camp last summer, so I did write something just so I can be concise, but I said I'm so inspired by the mission of public schools, and you can certainly tell that in the presentation that Jenna just provided. She has the smile ear to ear every minute of that camp from the experiences that she was a part of. And, you know, being intentionally diverse year round and experience based is something that I and so many others, I would imagine, would have dreamed to participate in. My daughter clearly benefited from it, and I was astonished at the impact the camp was able to provide for her in such a short window of time, and the confidence that she left with after one short week. The open-mindedness of the teachers, the diversity of the student body, and the creative original curriculum that Camila got introduced to is certainly a piece of a community that I wish my daughter and my family can be a part of, and I really think that St. Louis would truly benefit from. So I'm very excited for what this brings to St. Louis. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Maggie. Next up, we have Deanna Kearns.
Hello, everyone. I am a mother to a 5-year-old son, and my hope is that schools like this would be able to change the narrative amongst our young Black men, and would give them an opportunity to get a greater education without having to venture outside of their own community, and also give them an opportunity to make friends with other kids that are of a different cultural background.
Great, thank you, Deanna. Next up, we have Sharita Davis, and you should be good to go. Maybe. Sharita? All right, if she is not available, we'll move on to Genevieve Darcy.
I'm available. How are
Oh.
you?
Oh, good, there you are. Thank you.
Okay. So is this platform for just questions and comments or both?
I just comments only at this time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm happy to hear that St. Louis is bringing a school to the city that will offer this diverse and integrative approach to learning. I really had a question, but I guess I can't ask the question because it's just a comment platform. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I think it'll be good in the state that the economy is in right now. I think it would be really awesome to bring in a school that is really trying to incorporate cultural diversity. What I will hope is that that mission maintains for activity and interaction, make sure that the essence of what you guys are trying to do is fully implemented. Because the mindset sometimes of kids that are traditionally going to a school in their neighborhood may not be as open, especially if the family is involved. And so hoping that a community relationship will incorporate parents to be engaged in this process as well, to work as a team with each and so that's all I'll say.
Great, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, email info@mcpsc.mo.gov. And next up, we'll have Genevieve. And you should be good. Genevieve, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
there you go.
Oh, I had already started.
You're fine.
All right, let me say everything. Hi, I have over 20 years of experience in professional experience in education, and I've worked all over the country. And what I would like to speak to about Atlas is not only the pillars that you've heard today, but about the people and how, like someone had said before, how Colby and Genevieve walk the talk. And so their goals for creating a high quality curriculum are based on their deep work in schools, with educators, with communities. And I've seen that in everything they do. Their goals for children to become listeners and scholars and focused on contributing to community. I see that in what they do. And so I value the curriculum with a growth mindset based on having equity lenses, not only in what material is presented, but the experiences students have, the teachers that are in front of them, as well as whoever they speak to, so that children can see themselves reflected in the environment that they're in, but also in all the speakers that come into the school. And finally, I feel like for all of us that value choice and value charter schools, the idea of longevity and sustainability always comes up. But after working with Colby and Genevieve for over 3 years, I see that they have taken all of the steps to work hard on looking at where the pitfalls are and shoring up their plans so that they don't fall into those same pitfalls, but as well understanding that this is a journey and that there's going to be many turns. They're very resourceful, and both of them maintain stances as learners. And so they're always open to feedback. And based on what the previous parent said, as a parent too, their commitment to involving families and themselves being parents is palpable. They value people, and most of all, they value bringing joy to children's lives, and that requires involving the whole family. So I'm really excited to endorse them.
Great, thank you so much, Genevieve. Next up, we have Jeff Hood.
Thank you. Hello. I'll just start by saying I fully support and endorse Atlas Public Schools. As a longtime resident of the city of St. Louis and a former youth education director with the YMCA and having tutored and mentored in St. Louis Public Schools, I have seen the stark differences in school quality between some of our city schools and those in the more affluent suburbs here in St. Louis County. We must give the children of the city of St. Louis more options for a better education. For many kids, education is their only way out of poverty, and being born into a particular zip code should not determine the outcome of your life. But for many students in the city of St. Louis, it does. We need more high quality school options like Atlas for families to choose from. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Jeff. Next up, we have Eric Taylor.
Hey, good evening. I think I came behind the right person because that's the aspect that I was looking to talk about, that the zip code doesn't dictate your the way you grow up. Speaking from experience of a parent that sends his son, my oldest son goes to Parkway West. We were unfortunately not able to send him in the neighborhood. We have to send him an hour and a half away to get a diverse education. And I wish Atlas was around when he was in school. And another thing, we were blessed to get the kit, and it's awesome. We, me and my younger son, which he's in kindergarten now, hopefully Atlas will be around so we can send him there this year. The kit is amazing. Everything that's in there, he loved it.
Yeah, all right, thank you so much. Next up, we have Heather Simpson.
Hello. So I come here kind of from two perspectives right now. One is a parent whose daughter attended the pilot summer program. And, she would often talk about, since last summer, the different places that she visited and all the things that they did during camp. But knowing that I was coming to this forum this evening, I happened to ask her this week, like, hey, what do you remember about, the camp you went to last year? She's like, Mom, I just remember so much about it. But the thing that stuck out is that she said it wasn't just about learning, it was about the city and the community. So it took like so much of what she already was engaged in school and took it to another level to make it relevant to her and her life and the community around her. Then I also look at it from another perspective, because I've been a school social worker in the St. Louis area for many years now, and I see like the need for change in education. So I'm personally excited just about how Atlas is grounded in cooperative learning that's culturally competent in the creative and critical thinking aspect of it. And so I believe Atlas has the ability to inspire and to develop lifelong learners across the city.
Great, thank you so much, Heather. Next up, we have Lee Rohr.
Hi, my name is Lee Rohr. I'm the school leader at Kairos Academies, and we also have a year-round calendar as Atlas proposes. And so from the educator perspective, I've seen how having those opportunities for frequent professional development have not only increased the innovation and ability for staff to do their jobs better, but those breaks have really allowed students to rest and reset and come back stronger. And we've had extremely high academic growth from our students. And so just to reiterate what others have said, as a mother and an educator, I feel like our school needs, or our city needs, more diverse public school options for our students. And I think Atlas provides some really high quality educational experience that students would highly benefit from. And I would be happy to send my 5-year-old there in kindergarten. And that's it.
Thank you, Lee. Next up, we have Kevin Bryant.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, just as a developer, I'll be brief. I would just like to step out ahead and welcome these guys to the neighborhood, extend you a very warm welcome to our community. with so much investment happening in the Central Corridor right now, they could not have picked a better time to invest in our babies. And so I'm expecting the best out of you, and I look forward to holding you accountable.
Great. Thank you so much, Kevin. Next up, we have Casey McBride.
Hi, my name is Casey McBride, and I'm approaching my 7th year of teaching. My first years of teaching were heavily impacted by segregation and underfunding, and I've also had experience at a school that it was so heavily, sorry, I'm gonna put my video on, that was so heavily prioritized test scores that there was no quote unquote time for play and fun. And it wasn't really until I got the opportunity to work under Colby that I truly understood what a school could and should look like. He truly gave 110% every single day. And you can't really run a successful school and retain teachers and students without understanding your kids, families, and staff as people and not numbers, which is exactly what I've had experience with Colby doing. Atlas seems to embody every single thing that I would ever feel comfortable sending my own future children to. Similar to what Ashley Wildermuth said earlier, play-based learning and early education sets a strong foundation for lifelong learners. But my true satisfaction comes from the statements and the commitments that the founders have made about anti-racist practices, which St. Louis so desperately needs. So I'm fully confident in the founders' ability to follow through on their promises. So I'm very excited to see what Atlas has in store for St. Louis.
Thank you. Next up, we have Lorna Sanchez.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. My name is Lorna Sanchez McClellan. I work as the Managing Director of Instructional Leadership and Program at Teach for America St. Louis, through which I've had the opportunity to know both Colby and Genevieve. I'm here to speak on behalf of Atlas. I believe in their school model, but more importantly, as someone who believes that adult leadership is what can change the systems in St. Louis to be more equitable. I'm here to speak on behalf of Colby, who leads with his heart, with a student first mindset and with true, genuine and care for students, and Genevieve, who leads with entrepreneurialism, innovation, and a true care for each individual. I think that they are incredible leaders who will help change the landscape of education in St. Louis. And I'm very much looking forward to them stepping into a role as school leaders who will model for the rest of us what change can look like.
Thank you. Next up, we have Andre Logan. Maybe. Andre, are you there? If not, we will move on to Karen Kalish.
Hi, everybody. I am the CEO and founder of HomeWorks, the teacher home visit program. We train, support, and pay teachers in schools to go to the homes of their students and get their parents engaged in their education. I was working with Colby for several years, so I have seen him up close and personal. And because leadership is everything, I want to talk about Colby. I've seen him with his teachers a lot, and every one of them respects him, but he respects them and listens to them. I've seen him with the parents. He knows every parent's name and treats them with empathy and respect and love. And I've seen him with the students. He knows all of their names. So just that in itself, I think, is a really big deal for a school leader. I've seen him influence others, motivate others. He has a passion about this work. I'm only sorry it's taking him 2 years to do this, because that means he's been not running a school for 2 years, and it's our loss. He always brings out the best in others. He's great at building relationships. He sets really high goals for everyone and doesn't stop short of those high goals. He listens, he's responsive, he's high performing, and I think he's absolutely the best, as you can probably tell. St. Louis needs Atlas, and St. Louis needs Colby at the head of this school. Atlas. Go Atlas.
Thank you so much, Karen.